Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna do a video that has been so highly requested, and that's the skincare products I use on my children. So the way I like to think about the skin that my children have versus maybe someone like me, like an adult, is that they haven't hit puberty, obviously. My son is 3, my daughter is an infant. She hasn't even hit 1 yet, so she's still an infant, and they have really sensitive skin. So I like to think of their skin as probably the most sensitive skin out there. So instead of natural or organic, what I tend to look for my children are labels that say fragrance-free, and that sometimes includes essential oils. I know a lot of clean and natural products, especially made for kids, have essential oils in them. I try to steer away from too many essential oils. I'm not saying that all the products I use don't have some kind of essential oils, but the majority of their products, the ones that I use a lot on them, do not have fragrance or essential oils in them. I have used products for their scalp that have salicylic acid when they had cradle cap, but that's the only time that I've ever done that, and I only used it like 2 or 3 times, and it was a very gentle, made for babies and children formula, and it was made specifically for cradle cap, but one of the active ingredients was salicylic acid. So I will point that out. There might be times, and there might be times when you talk to your doctor and that's what they say to use, and in that case that's what happened. Was both my children had cradle cap, and their doctor suggested using products that have salicylic acid in them. So I was surprised that people wanted to know what I'm using on my children, what their skincare routines are. I think people think, since I am into skincare and I obviously talk a lot about skincare and use lots of different products, I might have elaborate routines for my children, but when it comes to my children, simple is better. So when I say simple, I'm looking for not just simple products, I'm keeping the routine simple also. I'm only using things like one kind of a cleanser, and I don't even feel like they need too much cleansing. I'm using just a lotion, and then I use stuff for their little tushies. So when they have rashes or anything like that, I have products for that as well. And then I'm using sunscreen. So you're not gonna find a lot of different products in the skincare routines that I use that I do on my babies. If they hit puberty and their hormones are raging and stuff, that's when we're gonna talk about different kind of skincare routines for them. And I don't know what age that's gonna be. It could be 12. I start my period at 12, and that's when I started to feel my hormones, working on my skin and giving me clogged pores and stuff like that. That's when my mom took me to get a real skincare routine. But up until that point, you don't really need anything except for simple stuff, right? So, cleanser. This is one of my go-tos. It's by CeraVe. It's CeraVe Baby. This is a wash and shampoo, and I tend to find that most baby shampoos and cleansers are basically all-in-ones because you're not using anything really harsh on them anyway. So what I like about this, it's fragrance-free. I don't really care that it's paraben and sulfate-free. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for fragrance-free. Sulfate-free is nice too because I don't want to dry out their skin, but I'm not even really using much cleanser on them. It has ceramides in it. I like that. If I'm gonna be cleansing my children and I'm gonna be putting them in water, I want them to have ceramides to help restore the strength of their skin and just keep it strong in general. You guys already know I'm a big fan of CeraVe, and so this is one of my favorite products from them. Funny enough, I hate the baby lotion though, and that's because it's a lot of dimethicone. I wanna say it's actually all dimethicone, and it's not that I think it's bad for your babies, I just don't like the feel of it. When I'm cleansing their skin and their hair, what I use is a really soft microfiber cleansing cloth. It's just, like a little square, same thing that you would maybe use on your face if you're cleansing your face. I just like that it's really, really soft. Do a little pump of this, so I don't even use too much cleanser, and I'll clean their little butts, and I'll clean their, I'll kind of like dab on their face a little bit under the neck, because that's where things like milk and stuff can get stuck, especially for a baby. Nikosh doesn't get milk there. I don't think, that would be weird. But, and then I'm cleaning their hands, their feet, and just kind of rinsing the water over them. For Isla specifically, I put a little pump, not even a full pump, I put like a little tiny dab of the cleanser on her head, and I use a little, like a soft brush for her scalp to really make sure she doesn't get cradle cap again and stuff. She can get a little bit of buildup still as an infant. For Nikosh, I'm not doing that at all. I'm just using a couple pumps of the cleanser and washing his hair, and then I just rinse them off completely. So I'm not using a lot of cleanser on them, and I'm not being very rough with them. I'm just really lightly dabbing them. The only places where I really want them to get super clean are their butts and their hands. Isla doesn't wear sunscreen too much because she doesn't leave our house often, and if she does, we usually have her completely covered. But for Nikosh, when we use sunscreen on him, I also take that microfiber cloth, and that's actually what made me start using a microfiber cloth instead of double cleansing him with like an oil cleanser and doing all that, because getting him to just be clean in general is a lot of work. I use the microfiber cloth to really get the sunscreen off of his skin. So again, I'll just do a little pump onto the cloth, and then I'll wipe his face and make sure that I get especially like around the hairline area on him and then around his nose and stuff. That's where I try to really focus on getting that sunscreen off of his skin. For Isla, when she does wear a lot of sunscreen, like when we took her to Mexico, I actually did do a double cleanse on her just because she's so sweet. She would take a bath with me and I would use just a really gentle oil cleanser on her skin and she would enjoy it a lot. It's like so cute seeing her face as I like just gently massage her face and stuff. And then I just rinse it off with the microfiber cloth and it's really cute. All the sunscreen comes off. So you can do something like that or you could just use a microfiber cloth if you've got a toddler who won't sit still for very long. Those are the ways that I clean them. As far as products I use after the bath, outside of the shower, I use this. It is Eucerin Baby. It is just a lotion. It's made with vitamin B5. It has shea butter in it. Shea butter happens to be one of my favorite moisturizing ingredients. It's fragrance free. There isn't that much happening. I think it's just a really nice lotion. Like I said, I don't use the CeraVe one because I feel like it's mostly dimethicone and it's because I don't like the feel of it. I like the way this feels. It feels like it's really hydrating and moisturizing for the skin. I put this all over their face and I put this all over their bodies and that's what I use to moisturize their skin. It's very nice and it's very gentle. If my babies have any dry patches like on their knees, their elbows, anything like that, sometimes when Isla was first born, she had really dry skin and the doctor wanted me to put lotion on her all the time throughout the day. I bought the cream version. It's just a little bit thicker. It's also fragrance free. I don't really think there's that much of a difference between these, to be honest. I like a pump at home because it's just a little bit more accessible. But I travel with this still, and when Isla was drier, when she had drier skin, this is what I used on her. And for their butts, their little tushies, you do have to have products. Babies get rashes no matter what. Nikosh is more prone to rashes than Isla is as of now. The two products that I like to always have around for them, one, this is Boudreaux's butt paste. I have been using this forever. I always get the maximum strength. That's because their pediatrician told me to do that. It's 40% zinc oxide. Zinc oxide also, you guys, is the same ingredient that you find in mineral sunscreens. So we'll get to that in a second. But this is what I've been using since I had Nikosh. I've been using it for 3 years, and I now use it on Isla as well. If I start to see a little pinkness on their skin or something and it looks like it could turn into a rash, what I tend to use is this. It's by The Honest Company. It's their organic all-purpose balm. This is also just a good balm to have for dry spots, even on your own skin. You can use it for yourself. I feel like this is very healing. It has tamanu oil in it. It has even coconut oil in it. Again, it's being used for butts though. It's not being used to cleanse your skin or moisturize it. I just find that this is very healing for the skin. So whenever I see a little bit of pinkness, I put this. Or if the rash is getting really bad, I'll put this first and then I'll put this on top of it as a protector. So this is something I always have on hand as well. Sometimes if I don't have this, we always have Aquaphor in the house. I'm almost never not without this, but sometimes I'll also use just a plain Aquaphor if you guys can't get your hands on this stuff. I find that this is a very healing product for the skin. Sometimes with like a diaper rash cream like this one, it gets all messy and all over the place. This does not. But it does have that tamanu oil scent to it, just so you guys know. Otherwise, there's no fragrance in it. These two products are actually, I have them on subscription on Amazon. So I just get these monthly because I go through so much of these. All right, and then when it comes to sunscreen, like I said, Isla doesn't really wear much sunscreen because she doesn't leave the house, and when she does, we pretty much cover her up. We've got like a sunshade for her, we've got a little hat for her, we've got a blanket that goes over everything. It's like she's just covered, and that's mostly because her pediatrician said that's the best way to protect her skin. For Nikosh, we actually buy him, especially if we know he's gonna be in the sun a lot. If we're going to the beach or the pool for the day or anything like that, we get him a hat. We have UV tops for him. UV blocking tops, so it's like UPF 50 ones. Those are really nice and they actually wick away the sweat too. But I also put sunscreen on my children. So Isla wears sunscreen when she is going to spend the day in the sun. So when we went on a beach vacation, put sunscreen on her daily. Same with Nikosh. The one that I use for him and for her the most is this one by Think Baby. It's SPF 50. It's 20% zinc oxide. It's, I want to say this is a non-nano zinc oxide. And if you've ever wondered what non-nano means, what I have read is that non-nano means that the particles don't penetrate your skin as deeply. I don't know why that would matter, to be completely honest. I think there are people that are afraid of sunscreen getting into their skin or something. It doesn't matter to me, but if it matters to you, I think this is a non-nano zinc oxide, but I like that it's zinc oxide. So all of the sunscreens that I look for my children, I always use zinc oxide, and that's because it is the same ingredient as the ingredient you're using on their butts for diaper rashes. So their pediatrician didn't say we had to use physical sunscreens on our children. She said just sunscreen in general because it's better to protect their skin than not. But she did point out that zinc oxide is it's the same ingredient that you're using on their butts as well. So people that wonder if they can put it on their infants, yes, you can put zinc oxide on your infant, but you should talk to your pediatrician before you do that, just because you never know. Your pediatrician might disagree with me. This does have some kind of a fragrance to it. I am not positive actually what gives it the fragrance. So I want to point that out because I don't like to put a lot of fragrance on my children, as you've obviously seen with all their products. Their sunscreen does have some kind of a fragrance in it. It says in the ingredients list that there's papaya in this at the very bottom, and I wonder if that's what's giving it. It's a very, very slight scent. I'll point out, a lot of people ask if I put this on myself, and I don't, and the reason for that is it's really thick and white. Nikosh has like a very nice, like a caramel kind of color to his skin, and this stands out on his skin a lot, but I kind of don't care because he's a child and I don't think he cares either. If anything, I kind of want to see how thick it is. I want to be able to see it on his skin, so I know that I covered all of his skin. So if you see pictures of him like at the beach or the pool, you'll see like there's parts of him that have a lot of sunscreen on him, and that's mostly because he didn't let me rub it in. So I don't really care. I just kind of make sure I cover his skin, and that's more important to me, and I don't think he cares whatsoever that you can see his sunscreen. So even when he goes to school, you might see some like white stuff on his face and everything. I kind of don't care. It's to protect his skin, and he doesn't seem to care. So until he does care, I'll probably continue using this. I do keep this in my bag. It's by Ren. I started talking about this last year when it came out. It's their clean screen. It's mineral SPF as well. It's SPF 30. I use this on myself a lot, but I like keeping it around because one, the bottle, the little tube is pretty small and you can throw it in your bag easily. It is 22% zinc oxide, and that is the active ingredient in this. So I keep this around because I like this one for myself, but it also works for my children, so that's why I like to keep it in my bag. So those are the skincare products that I use on my kids. When they hit puberty, whatever age that is, their skincare routines are gonna change because hormones do that to you. They really affect your skin. Your oil glands start to produce a lot more. You might get breakouts. You just go through a lot. You know, puberty is not a fun time of life. But until then, these are pretty much the kind of products that I'm looking for my children. I want everything to be simple. I want it to be straightforward, mostly fragrance-free, no essential oils. Those are the things. No essential oils might be the most important thing to me because it's gonna cause irritation. I've seen that happen to Nikosh. I used to buy him all those kinds of products, and I was sent a lot of those products that were meant for kids that have the essential oils in them, and his skin always had some kind of like a rashy breakout to it. So my favorite thing to use on him is fragrance-free, and I started doing the same thing with Isla as soon as she was born. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or what you use on your children. I always want to know which products you love. If there are sunscreens, I'm always taking suggestions. Find me on Instagram, I'm at Yara, and I'll talk to you soon.